Violence and sexual abuse against children is rampant all across the country. It's an issue that affects children of all ages, across regions and economic classes. In light of recent movements to bring attention to the rising crimes against children, the Swaniti initiative team thought it was important to look deeper into the issue. Swaniti works closely with parliamentarians and sector experts on a range of policy issues, and we reached out to them to find out more about this problem. Is a broad term used to describe sexual offences against children. Indian law defines a child as any person under the age of 18 years. We commonly think of child sexual abuse as involving physical acts of violence, but it can often include both physical and non-physical acts and involves a broad range of offences. These include penetration, non-penetrative sexual assault, exhibitionism, stalking, showing children pornography, or using them for pornography. Child sexual abuse involves exploitation of the child's vulnerability to obtain sexual gratification, in the process causing mental, physical, and emotional damage to the child. Recent events, the problem of child sexual abuse has attained frightening proportions and requires urgent intervention by both the government and society. It is in this context that the Criminal Law Amendment Act was passed recently, which mandates the death penalty for the rape of a girl child under the age of 12. The introduction of the amendment was spurred not only by public demand, but also because of the surge in the number of reported crimes of sexual violence against children. More than 1 lakh children were victims of crimes in 2016, with the number of reported cases of child rape having risen more than 80% from 2015 to 2016. It is important to ask ourselves why the crime of child sexual abuse is on the rise. A common belief is that this is due to an increase in the number of crimes committed, but this isn't always the case. Crimes may be seen to be rising due to an increase in reporting. Increased reporting may be due to better policing or due to effective government policies and programs for victims of abuse.
मैं देना चाहता हूँ जो चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज़ के इश्यूज पे उनको बुलाया है और कई एमपीज़ को भी हमने बुलाया है और यूनिसेफ से डॉक्टर यास्मीन एज एन एक्सपर्ट को भी उनको बुला के बात किया है। और मैं इस बात को कहना चाहता हूँ कि इधर बीच में चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज़ पर बहुत सी खबरें आई और उन्होंने सोसाइटी को बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर उद्वेलित भी किया है। सोसाइटी में कमोशन है और नए सिरे से इन मुद्दों पर विचार किया जा रहा है बहुत बड़े स्तर पर कई जगह पर। यह है कि ऐसा नहीं है कि ये घटनाएं नहीं हो रही। भारतीय समाज में ये चीज़ काफ़ी लंबे समय से चली आ रही है और बच्चा चूँकि उपेक्षित है, बच्चा परिवार के अंदर लोग कहते तो हैं कि हम बच्चों को भगवान के बराबर रखते हैं, लेकिन उनको मानते नहीं हैं और खबरों के माध्यम से ऐसा लगने लगा है कि हिंदुस्तान बच्चों के लिए एक असुरक्षित देश है। आमतौर पर ज़्यादातर बच्चे जो चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज़ का शिकार हो रहे हैं, ये वही बच्चों ये अपने परिवार के या पड़ोस के लोगों के द्वारा ही कराया जा रहा है और हम लोग अभी समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं कि आखिर लोगों को क्या हो गया है, वो बच्चों से ऐसा सलूक कैसे कर सकते हैं। इधर बीच में कानून भी सख्त किए गए हैं और यहाँ तक कि मृत्युदंड का प्रावधान भी किया गया है और मुझे लगता है कि जो मशीनरी है हमारी सरकारी मशीनरी, वो कैसे ज़्यादा चाइल्ड सेंसिटिव बने और बच्चों को फोकस में रखे, बच्चों की प्रॉब्लम्स को एड्रेस करें, उनको ध्यान से सुने और एक ऐसे माहौल पर काम किया जाए जिससे कि जो मानसिकता लोगों की है, जो गंदी मानसिकता है, उससे लोगों को बचाया जा सके। एक मानना मेरा भी है कि बहुत से लोग जो आज आक्रांता है, जो एग्रेसिव है, जो क्रिमिनल लाइन्स पे चल रहे हैं, ये वही लोग हैं जिनका बचपन खंडित हुआ था, उनके साथ में ऐसे सलूक किए गए थे, तो उनको लगता है कि हम भी दूसरों के साथ में ऐसा सलूक कर सकते हैं। तो एक तरफ जहाँ नन्हे बच्चों की काउंसलिंग की जरूरत है जो ट्रॉमेटाइज हैं, दूसरी तरफ सोसाइटी में भी बड़े पैमाने पर इस टाइप की काउंसलिंग या डिस्कशन की जरूरत है कि लोग ये महसूस कर सकें कि उनके साथ जो कुछ हुआ था वो अच्छा नहीं हुआ था और वो जिंदगी का रास्ता नहीं है, और हम लोग एक अच्छे समाज की रचना कर सके, मुझे लगता है ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। और आज की मीटिंग के बाद में मुझे लगता है कि हम मेंबर पार्लियामेंट्स के साथ में बैठ के बात करके और डिफरेंट इश्यूज पे इस इशू को उठाएंगे, और कैसे पार्लियामेंट एक इकाई के मतलब एक इंस्टीट्यूशन के तौर पर इस समस्या को जड़ से खत्म करने में मददगार हो सकता है। कैसे कानूनों में समाधान में सुधार हो सकते हैं, कैसे बजट के माध्यम से सोसाइटी को मोबिलाइज किया जा सकता है, लोकल बॉडीज को मोबिलाइज किया जा सकता है, और कैसे एक चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक सोसाइटी का निर्माण किया जा सकता है, कैसे हम बच्चों को अपना एक बेहतर एक अच्छा माहौल दे सकते हैं। इस पर बहुत अच्छा काम करने की जरूरत है, और मैं प्रयास करूंगा कि हम सब लोग मिलकर इस पर काम करें।
Until 2012, there were no specific laws in India to address sexual offences against children. This governance gap was remedied by the government through the enactment of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, widely known as the POCSO Act. This legislation aims to protect children from offences of sexual assault, sexual harassment, as well as pornography. Despite this strong set of policy measures, the issue continues to loom large. Why are these policy instruments not working? Is it a problem with implementation, or does this have more to do with people's mindsets? Swaniti interacts with UNICEF India's Chief of Child Protection, Mr. Javier Aguilar, in order to better understand why the issue of child sexual abuse is so prevalent.
So how do you understand the issue of child sexual abuse, the nature of the issue?
Right. So for starting, let's say that this is nothing that is exceptional to India. Of course, the media has been seriously affected by a lot of dramatic stories about children being victims of sexual abuse. But what we can say is that child sexual abuse can happen in any place in the world.
Given your vast experience working in the field of child protection, why is this issue of child sexual abuse been increasing?
Well, we're pretty sure that it's increasing reporting. And we should, of course, this is very sad cases that are being reported through the media, mainly, and to the police. But in reality, it's more the sign of better awareness among the general population. And I think one big trigger of change was a few years back. The Nirbhaya case was already a starting point in how the public opinion got involved into this issue. Now the media has been playing a very important role on that. What we must say is that people are more aware of what to do when a case is reported and how to take it to police. So I think there is nothing that can tell us in this point of time that it's more cases. There is zero evidence demonstrating that. It's more that the general public is confident to bring those cases to the police.
So what is the way forward for us? What do different actors in the system do? The government, policymakers, or parliamentarians, civil society, and community?
Right, let's start with the government. Government and judiciary, if you allow me. It's two different sectors, but it's important that they come together. They are doing a lot of good efforts. But if there is a priority, is to ensure that the children have access to justice when they are victims of sexual abuse. And the conviction rate is very low. This is important because if people do not trust police, the judiciary, the government to report cases, we are not making progress. So if there is a priority the government can really take forward along with the judiciary, would be to ensure that that there is a response to those cases and that we don't have cases of child sexual abuse that 15, 20 years down the road are not yet disposed. So that would be one action of the government. Second action of the government would be that there is more resources invested in prevention, particularly in schools, for representatives like MLAs at state level and MPs at national level. Our humble recommendation would be that they try to look what is happening in their own constituencies. Civil society, they are already doing quite a lot. There are many good initiatives. But probably where we need to make additional effort is how civil society coordinates more closely with the government to achieve better results. And then finally, communities. I think it's a combination of things. But here we need to work more closely with Panchayati Raj institutions, in particular local governance bodies, because they are the closest to the community.
clear that child sexual abuse is an important topic. While the introduction of an amendment may improve the situation, both parliamentarians and experts agree that awareness creation is the most important component of tackling the issue. Society has to put in efforts to both understand the issue and take action in order to provide a safe environment for children of our country.